Hi there, it's great to be with you again. My name is Adam, I lead the team here at Pinehurst Community Church, and this is another one of our little encouragement videos for you today. We've been exploring what it is to be a disciple of Jesus Christ, what that looks like, what it looks like to follow him. And what I want to do is talk about today something that I struggle with, something that I think particularly the Western world struggles with, but something that I think is key to our discipleship and to what it is to follow Jesus. And you may have noticed in recent weeks the world is changing. Now, I'm not talking about necessarily COVID-19 and the lockdown. I'm talking about the way we're coming out of lockdown. When we were in lockdown, the world stopped, didn't it? You may have been there, you may have stopped. Everything you may have normally done may have been cancelled. You may have been furloughed from work. You may not have been able to see friends and families. You may not have been able to go out and do things you normally do. Life changed, didn't it? It changed dramatically. And during lockdown, we talked. The world talked about, there's going to be a new normal. And what's that new normal going to look like? But have you noticed what started happening recently? We've started to come out of lockdown. And as we come out of lockdown, I think we're starting to fall back into some of the way we were before. Not everything, we have to wear masks and gloves and clean our hands more often and things like that. But the busyness of life, I think, is coming back. The roads are busier, the shops are busier, tourist places are busier again. The world is getting busy. All those moments of slower living seem to have been behind us as we look to go forward and try and find what the new normal is. But what I wanted to mention today and talk about was this very idea of rest. Now, during lockdown, some of us had lots of rest. Some of us had very little rest, depending on what your role was within lockdown. But as we come out of this and as the world starts to gather speed again, I think we need to recapture rest. Now, when I say rest, I'm not talking about just sleeping or napping. That's part of resting, but I think there's a lot more to resting than that. You see, we all do different things, don't we, to rest? And I believe that rest is something that God ordained from the very beginning of time. If you look right back in the book of Genesis, right back to the beginning, what you'll see is on the seventh day, God rested. He rested from all he'd done. But if you also look carefully at what day he created Adam and Eve on, it was the sixth day. That means their first full day in the garden was the seventh day, which was a day of rest. They didn't start working until after a day of rest. They worked from a place of rest rather than rested from a place of work. Have you noticed that we do this? Have you noticed that as humans we tend to work, and if we've done everything we'll then have a little rest? But I don't think this is the way God had it at the beginning. Rest was so important. God himself rested. Jesus rested. He took time out. But rest for each of us looks different. Today we're in my garden. Now, the reason we're here is because this is where I find my rest. I like to come home. I like to water my plants. I like to see them grow. I like to see them bloom and turn into everything they can. But each of us do different things to rest. Some of us, it may be exercise. Some people, it may be space, time on your own. Some people, you might get rest by being with others. But rest is such an important thing for us as people. But I think what we've done in this world is we've become human doings rather than human beings. Whereas we just need to learn what it is to be, what it is to rest, what it is to stop. And can I ask you, as you follow Jesus, do you find time to stop, to just be with him, to enjoy him? As I come out into my garden, as I come here, as I water, as I dig, as I plant, as I harvest, do I enjoy him? And for each of us, we can do that. Maybe it's a walk out in the forest. Maybe it's a moment with your kids. Or is your life just a life which is so busy with work that you never have time for any rest? So let me encourage you. Find what it is. Find the place that brings you rest. Spend time in it. Spend time with your family, with your friends, whoever it may be. Don't neglect them and give them your second best. I'm talking to myself here. I know this isn't something I'm great at. Learn to switch off. Enjoy a rest, enjoy God, enjoy whatever it is that recharges you, and live your life from that position. It's from there you'll start to grow in your discipleship. It's from there you'll start to grow in your love for Jesus. It's from there that you'll really start to learn this really important aspect of what it is to be a follower of Him.